Turkey's strongman president holds on to power after an election runoff. The opposition came closer than they ever have to defeating Recep Tayyip Erdogan, but it wasn't enough, and his supporters are jubilant. Also tonight, will supermarkets bow to government pressure to cap the price of basic food items? Russia bombards Kiev in a massive drone attack, and
Brave! Everton have survived!
The ecstasy and the agony of the final day of the Premier League.
This is ITV News with Geraint Vincent.
Good evening. He has ruled Turkey for 20 years and become a major figure on the international stage. And tonight, Recep Tayyip Erdogan has achieved another election win. His opponent in today's runoff vote, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, presented the president with the toughest democratic challenge to his authority he has yet faced. But official results so far have Mr. Erdogan on around 52% of the vote. His religious conservative base is celebrating this evening, but opposition supporters are claiming that the election was not a fair fight. Here's Martha Fairley.
The counting wasn't over, but President Erdogan was being hailed the victor, celebrating with delighted supporters in Istanbul, who booed as he waved off his opponent, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. Bye, Kemal. This is the man he has beaten. Opposition coalition candidate Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu cast his vote in the capital Ankara, urging Turks to get rid of an authoritarian regime. But while Erdogan failed to secure 50% of the vote 2 weeks ago, he remained the favourite in this runoff election. That was despite criticism of his government in the wake of the devastating earthquake in February that killed tens of thousands and destroyed homes and livelihoods. In the province at the epicentre, survivors cast their votes, hopeful of a better future. But while Erdogan appeals to a conservative electorate, young voters fear what a third term will do for rocketing inflation and human rights.
The economy and other stuff are so bad, so it's our job to vote and get our country in a better place.
I would want to leave the country. I would want to leave to Germany, Netherlands, whatever, and get a citizenship and probably never come back.
Yeah, I have the right to vote today. I might not have it in the next 5 years if it doesn't go well. So I wanted to use the right of voting today.
Celebrations have brought Ankara to a standstill tonight as crowds gather at the presidential palace. But with 52% of the vote for Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey is a country very much divided. Martha Fairley, ITV News.
Plans to get supermarkets to cap the cost of some food essentials have been drawn up by the government. Any scheme, it says, would be voluntary. Talks between ministers and retailers might offer some hope for hard-pressed households, which are seeing the price of their weekly shop soar. But retailers say that the cost of food is directly related to the high cost of energy and transport. With more, here's our political correspondent Tom Sheldrick.
Soaring food prices now appear to be the front line of the cost of living crisis. The government is asking retailers to try to cut the cost of basics like bread and milk.
We've announced considerable support with cost of living, but we want to work constructively with supermarkets in a voluntary way as to how we can work together to address the increase in cost that we've seen, particularly around food prices.
In the year to April, food prices rose by 19.1%. Dairy products are among the worst affected. Milk went up 33%, cheddar cheese 39%, and eggs 37%, with shoppers feeling the effects.
Yes, the prices are too much.
Less than before.
For example, we buy like less quantity than before, so we try to use weekly basis.
Yeah, well, I think it is a good idea to put a cap on the essentials, actually, like eggs, milk, butter, bread. I think it would help.
But the group representing retailers says they can't afford to lower prices after they were pushed up by factors including the war in Ukraine.
Everybody from the farmer to the manufacturer to the retailer has cut their margins. And in fact, the government today has said how low retail margins are. They're the lowest across Europe, near enough, and we cannot go any lower. So everybody has done everything they can to cut prices, and that's what makes this pledge so meaningless.
This is being compared to Ted Heath's price controls to tackle inflation in the 1970s.
The Ministers of Agriculture decided on such a revision, including a reduction in the price of butter.
The current Conservative government insists they will not impose price caps, and food price cuts would be at the discretion of retailers. For many shoppers struggling to afford the essentials, help can't come soon enough. Tom Sheldrick, ITV News.
In Ukraine, today is Kiev Day, traditionally a celebration of the foundation of the country's capital more than 1,500 years ago. Russia marked it very early this morning by attacking the city with dozens of drones, which were laden with explosives. The Ukrainian government says most of them were shot down, but one man was killed when wreckage fell onto a petrol station. Callum Watkinson reports.
A message on the Telegram app says this was a drone strike last night in Kiev. Part of a 5-hour blitz described by officials there as massive. May the 28th is the day residents traditionally celebrate the founding of their city. Instead, they are again picking through the wreckage of parts of it. Assisted by his son, Volodymyr Golubenko is salvaging what he can. He is blind, but didn't need his sight to know the drones were coming. I heard them for the first time, he says, adding that the air raid sirens started at 7 minutes past 1 in the morning. I didn't sleep anymore. I have never heard them before. There were drone attacks around the country, but most were in Kiev, and officials drew a connection with the city's founding day. The most powerful blow was directed against Kiev region, President Zelensky said. This is how Russia celebrates the day of our ancient Kiev. As a Ukrainian spring offensive slips inevitably into summer, Russian state media broadcast new pictures from the devastated city of Bakhmut, and its Wagner mercenaries said victory there gives Russia an opportunity for an offensive of its own. On Kiev's 1541st birthday, this troubled chapter of that long history looks set to carry on. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
ITV has confirmed that its flagship daytime show This Morning has not been axed and that tomorrow's programme will air as scheduled. The broadcaster denied reports, sparked by the resignation of its former presenter Philip Schofield, that the show was under review. They say stand-in presenters Alison Hammond and Dermot O'Leary will front tomorrow's edition. It comes as the TV doctor Ranj Singh made fresh claims about what he called the show's toxic culture, but ITV said it had found no evidence of bullying or discrimination when he originally raised his complaint. Police in Venice are investigating after a section of the Grand Canal was turned a luminous green. Mystery surrounds the change in colour, with some speculating that it could be a protest by climate activists. Authorities say they are reviewing CCTV and have taken water samples to try to identify the cause. On to football now, and Leicester and Leeds have both been relegated from the Premier League in a dramatic final day of the season, with 3 teams battling it out to avoid the final 2 relegation spots. It was Everton who survived, courtesy of a brilliant goal which prompted some raucous scenes at Goodison Park. Chris Scudder was watching the action.
Well, they come out after 69 years in the top flight. It was all down to 90 minutes for Everton failed to win, and it could all be over. Tension was tangible too at Leeds, where only a win would be good enough, but they made the worst possible start. Harry Kane's goal for Spurs throwing a spanner in the works of Sam Allardyce's survival hopes. That was also good news for Leicester fans nervously listening for news of their relegation rivals. And suddenly they were in ecstasy as Harvey Barnes scored against West Ham, a goal that would take Leicester out of the relegation places and put despairing Everton fans back in the drop zone. Meanwhile at Leeds it got worse. Spurs took a 2-0 lead. Sam Allardyce knew it was over.
The dagger into the Leeds United heart.
Then the crucial moment, a desperate Everton scored the goal that could save them.
That has just raised the roof. It could be a lifesaver for an incredible goal.
News travelled fast to Leicester. Even scoring a second goal against West Ham would not be enough to save them. Everton surviving once again at the death. Joy and relief at Goodison. There will be a 70th consecutive season in the top division for Everton. Only Arsenal have been there longer.
Having kept them in the division. It's heartbreak at Ellen Road for the players.
But for the others, despair. Leeds relegated after 3 seasons back in the big time.
Well, it has been one hell of a ride for Leicester City.
And for Leicester, 7 years after that greatest fairy tale story of them all, becoming unlikely champions, their stay in the Premier League is over.
It is time to say goodbye.
Chris Scudder, ITV News.
Oh dear. And finally, today has narrowly become the hottest day of the year so far, with temperatures reaching 24.4 degrees in Plymouth. This was the scene on the River Avon in Warwickshire this afternoon. Forecasters say the sunshine is set to continue for much of the country, with fine and settled weather carrying on into Bank Holiday Monday and next week. It's thought tomorrow will be slightly cooler, with the warmest and sunniest conditions likely in the west and northwest. Today's record is 1/10 of a degree above the 24.3 degrees recorded yesterday in West Yorkshire. A detailed national forecast is up next, but that is it from us for tonight. Thank you for watching and good night.
Everywhere will be lovely and warm today. You might even be tempted to go for a dip. Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
Good evening to you. We've had some stunning weather to coincide with this long, late May bank holiday weekend. Yet more warm sunshine on the cards as we go into Bank Holiday Monday. Just a little cooler where we've got the cloud and a bit more of a breeze. And another chilly night ahead. Temperatures sliding a fair few degrees across parts of Scotland, rural areas of England, Wales and Northern Ireland. The breeze keeping any significant mist and murk at bay. So clear and crisp from the word go into Bank Holiday Monday. For those up bright and early, stunning sunshine, brilliant blue skies. Just a little more in the way of cloud cover wafting its way in from the east. And where we've got the cloud and the breeze from the near North Sea, feeling a little cooler, a little fresher. Those temperatures a little more modest compared to recent days, particularly around those North Sea coastal counties. Otherwise, temperatures responding well, feeling pleasant, highs of 21 or 22 degrees. A little more cloud cover in the east on Tuesday. Again, a chilly breeze from the near North Sea. But where we've got the sunshine, feeling so much better.
Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello there. Very good evening to you. We've had fine, dry and sunny weather over the last few weeks, and that story is set to continue as we work into the new working week as well. There's been some sunshine today where we've seen highs into the low 20s, and the warmer weather continues as we go through the week ahead. This area of high pressure, though, still feeding in that rather chilly easterly wind, and if you're across the eastern side of the capital or heading towards the coast, it will always feel that bit cooler here. But while we do see the sunshine, temperatures should respond quite nicely. Now, through the rest of this evening and overnight, we've got some clear spells around, little patchy amounts of cloud across the far east, but otherwise by dawn tomorrow morning, for most of us, temperatures holding up into the high single figures. We start tomorrow as we go into Bank Holiday Monday, another fine, dry and sunny day to come. Yes, the cloud tending to come and go as we go through the day. A bit of a brisk breeze again affecting eastern home counties, but I suspect by the afternoon in that strong sunshine, temperatures jumping up to around 16 to 19 degrees Celsius, which is 66 in Fahrenheit. The strong sunshine stays with us as we go through the last few days of May, and as we head towards June, we still have the sunshine overhead, staying dry with temperatures back into the low 20s. Good night.
Vaillant sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.